Welcome everyone, I'm Dale and this is Cinema Historia. 4 female college students, spring break, and destination, Fort Lauderdale. This week we're going back to 1960 for an American comedy film called Where the Boys Are. Starring Connie Francis, Dolores Hart, Paula Prentice, George Hamilton, Yvette Mimieux, Jim Hutton, and Frank Gorshin. And this is directed by Henry Levin. Our story focuses this week on the coming of age of 4 girl students at a Midwestern university during spring break. The 4 girls consist of Merritt Andrews, played by Dolores Hart, smart and down to earth; Melanie Tallman, played by Yvette Mimieux, a magnet for young men; Tuggle Carpenter, played by Paula Prentice, looking for a man to join her in marriage; and athletic Angie, played by Connie Francis, who is clueless about romance, rounds out the group. En route to Fort Lauderdale, they stop and pick up a hitchhiker, TV Thompson, played by Jim Hutton, who becomes interested in 5'10.5" tall Tuggle. Soon after the young girls arrive at Fairview Motel, Melanie meets neighbors Franklin and Dill, 2 Ivy Leaguers. The next day, Merritt and Angie begin soaking up the Florida sun on the beach, while Tuggle starts hanging out with TV, appropriately nicknamed because he's getting into television. Angie finds her attitude challenged, not meeting anyone yet, while Merritt meets suave and handsome Ryder Smith, played by George Hamilton. Ryder, a senior at Brown University, invites Merritt to his grandparents' lavish estate, later having dinner on the family yacht. Almost being run over heading to the beach once again, Angie meets musician Basil, played by Frank Gorshin, leader of the Basil Dematomos Quartet, an eccentric jazz group. With everyone being invited to the elbow room for drinks, Angie and Basil become better acquainted, while their colleagues settle in for some interesting music. Tensions begin to rise in our story, however, as our 4 coming-of-age girl students begin to realize that their boyfriends have more engaging experiences on their minds. I wonder what that's all about. So, do 2 Ivy Leaguers play too heavily on Melanie's emotions? Does Tuggle decide she needs more TV time? Does Merritt get lured by wealth and good looks, thinking she has found love? Does Basil lose his thick glasses and need Angie's attention more than ever? Or was a Fort Lauderdale spring break vacation just what our 4 female college students needed? Released December 28, 1960, the film is based on American writer and novelist Glendon Swarthout's 1960 novel of the same name. Variety called it a potential box office whopper, and yes, the film was a success, earning $3.5 million. In fact, MGM signed Dolores Hart, Paula Prentice, and Jim Hutton to long-term contracts. With an 86% rating from the film critic Rotten Tomatoes, this film received 2 nominations, a 1961 Golden Laurel for Top Comedy and a 1961 Golden Laurel for Top Female Comedy Performance for Paula Prentice. And if you're not familiar with Paula Prentice, I did another film she starred in on my channel called Man's Favorite Sport. Also starring Rock Hudson, it is a comedy fishing movie. I think you'll enjoy it. Please click the link below. And our trivia question this week: was there an interesting impressionist who played a part in our film? Was there an interesting impressionist who played a part in our film? So, a little more history and the answer to our trivia question coming up next. This movie was the film debut of the amazing Connie Francis, making her the subject of this week's history. So, Connie Francis is an American pop singer, actress, and top charting female vocalist of the late 1950s and early 1960s. Frances was born December 12, 1937 to an Italian-American family, spending her first years in Crown Heights, Brooklyn area before the family moved to New Jersey. Encouraged by her father, Frances appeared regularly at talent contests, pageants, and other neighborhood festivities from the age of 4 as a singer and accordion player. Graduating from New Jersey's Belleville High School class of 1955, she continued to perform at festivities and talent shows. Frances then began appearing on television with NBC's Startime Kids and Arthur Godfrey's Talent Scouts, which in turn landed her a job as a singer on demonstration records. Despite only modest success, Frances was hired to record the vocals for Tuesday Weld's singing scenes in the 1956 movie Rock, 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 and for Frida Holloway in the 1957 Warner Brothers rock and roll movie Jamboree. In the fall of 1957, Frances enjoyed her first success, a duet single she recorded with Marvin Rainwater entitled The Majesty of Love, peaking at number 93 on the Billboard Hot 100 and eventually selling over 1 million copies. With the MGM Records not renewing her contract, she considered a career in medicine. However, she followed her father's advice once more and recorded a contemporary version of the 1923 song, Who's Sorry Now? I remember that one. The single seemed to go unnoticed, but on January 1st, 1958, it debuted on Dick Clark's American Bandstand, launching Frances to worldwide stardom, reaching number 1 on the UK singles chart and number 4 in the US. Becoming the top American female recording star, MGM gave Frances a large role in Where the Boys Are, soliciting the services of Neil Sedaka and Howard Greenfield to write the theme song. The theme song Where the Boys Are peaked at number 4 in the US and became Connie Francis's signature tune. Frances is estimated to have sold more than 200 million records worldwide. She was the first woman in history to reach number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 with Everybody's Somebody's Fool in 1960, and was the first woman to have 3 number 1 hits on the chart. That's a big deal. She also sings Turn On the Sunshine in this film. Pretty cool song. And the answer to our trivia question this week, was there an interesting impressionist who played a part in our film? Yes, I remember this gentleman. American Frank Gorshin, who plays Basil, the hip bass player, was already known for his talents as an impressionist, comedian, and character actor. In addition to his many films as an actor, he was also very popular on television, including 10 episodes as the Riddler on the live-action TV series Batman during the 1966 and 1967 season. I used to watch that as a kid along with the Monkees. He made many guest appearances on television, variety, and talk shows, including The Ed Sullivan Show. In fact, he appeared on that show on February 9, 1964, the same night the Beatles and Davy Jones made their debut. That goes into a memory bank, I'll bet, for him. I'd like to give a big thank you to my viewers and subscribers this week. I added a link to another film I did for last year on March break, Girl Happy from 1965. Yes, Elvis goes to Fort Lauderdale as well. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you soon.